Our big announcement that I promised on the Facebook throughout the day. Getting a lot of emails and questions about what that is. But it looks like we're going to have to delay that. So stay tuned. We have a special announcement about a new sponsor joining the Timeout family. And we hope to have that for you coming up next time. On the Timeout Show, our show is brought to you tonight by Randy's Auto Body and by our friends from Coach B's Driving School. And we'll be telling you all about those fine local businesses in just a couple of minutes. Tiger baseball tonight at 6:40. The boys are in. Rick and James will have an extended Tigers pregame for you coming up. Tigers looking to win 2 in a row after a nice win last night. The Sizemore kid coming up from Toledo and getting it done last night in the D, and boy, did they need that. It has been a tough slog. The Tigers have lost 7 of their last 8. We'll preview the game for you. 6:40 start time coming up on WCSR. We're especially thrilled tonight to have a state champion in the studio. We're not often able to say that, but we are very fortunate to have Lynsey Molinaro in the studio tonight from Jonesville High School and her coach, Matt. Guys, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, Coach. Coach is also dad, right? Let's establish that.
Yes, that is a fact.
Did you know you had a decent player on your team here in Lynsey when the season started?
Yeah, actually, watching her grow up a little bit. Some kids right out of the gate that they're going to be coachable, workable, and have some potential.
How do you coach a bowler? I mean, we've had every kind of sport on this show. Track athletes. We've had basketball, football, baseball. We've not had a bowler on. So the Timeout Show needs some education about the way bowling works a little bit. How do you prepare for bowling? How did you help her sort of ascend to this level as a state champion?
Well, that's a very good question. Well, basically, you had to go do clinics, learn how to coach, basically. I mean, there's always techniques, everything that you need to know about bowling, then you go and take classes, seminars, 3-day events, whatever it takes. And a lot of the bowling conventions I go to, I get to meet with the pros, and I pick their brain. What kind of drills do you use? What works for you mentally. I do seminars at the National Bowling Conventions. There's a nice sports psychologist that I always take in his seminars.
She can come on in here if she wants to take the pictures. It's fine. She's not going to bother us at all. We're not used to having guests with their own photographer. This is pretty good. Lynsey, your dad is your coach. Is that difficult for you?
Sometimes it is, because sometimes you don't want to listen to Dad when he has his advice, but you got to just to know exactly what you want to do and be able to go through it. And
so you guys, your dad owns L&J Lanes, is that right?
Yes.
And so you've been around the sport, obviously, your whole life. When do you remember sort of getting started? How young were you when you started bowling?
Was it 3rd or 4th grade is when I finally got onto a league. I was about 8 years old, but I had been bowling before that, but it wasn't really official until about third grade.
So you started league bowling at L&J about 3rd grade?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And you've been bowling ever since. And has Jonesville had a high school team the whole time?
Yep.
See, now that's a special thing right there, just to have your high school actually feature that sport when a lot of schools don't. So you've got that going for you. Obviously, you're on the team as a freshman. And how did it go your freshman year?
Freshman year, I dual sported with basketball.
Gotcha.
So it was a little difficult trying to get to meets and games, but I made it work for the most part. But eventually I quit basketball. So
you had to make a decision. It was difficult to try to double up on it. You decided on bowling. Was that a tough decision?
It was very tough because I've been playing basketball since I could even remember.
Did Coach Molinaro impact that decision, or was that your decision to make?
Definitely my decision. I figured if I was going to go anywhere with one sport, it'd be bowling. So
right. So your sophomore year, obviously you've got a year under your belt. Are you starting to see some growth now as the years go on? I mean, was it kind of a build-up?
Yeah, it was. from freshman year until now my senior year, like, there was definite improvement, drastic improvement, actually. Like, just missing state my freshman year to making it all the way my senior year was awesome.
Coach, do you have, do you guys, after school, you go have practice and that kind of thing?
Yeah, actually, the school, the sport for bowling for Jonesville is actually thankfully funded by the Booster Club. Mm-hmm. And so we got only so much money, so practice time is pretty limited because I end up usually with anywhere from 25 to 30 kids out on the team. So depends on how many kids I got. I have varsity boys and varsity girls and JV boys and maybe JV girls. So potentially 4 teams to try to coach.
And you guys practice out at L&J Lanes?
Yes.
So you have a little home court advantage there and that kind of thing.
Yep.
Coming into the year, did you guys know that Lynsey would have an opportunity? I guess I'll ask you the first question, Coach. Did you think she had a chance to do this?
This season? Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Yeah. She lost in the quarterfinals last year. And in her sophomore year, she actually got to match play again. How it works is you got 60 girls trying to get to the top 16. Mm-hmm. Top 16 make match play, and she made it to that. And that's when we found out she really had some shoulder problems because, like, her first ball in match play, she just dropped the ball and so she basically has been setting her goals since her freshman year. Like, okay, I want to get to state my sophomore year, and she actually made match play, so that was way better than what she expected. And then she says, okay, now I want to get farther than I did last year. So what she did again her junior year, and then she said, okay, now I want to win the state championship.
Lynsey, was there a rival? Was there a girl that you knew about that you knew you were going to have to end up facing that you were kind of thinking about in the back of your mind?
Really, I figured I'd be up against one of the Vandercook girls, but turns out through match play I wiped out, 2 of them? 2 out of the 4 that made match play, so it didn't wind up being someone from Vandercook in the finals, but yeah, I seriously thought I was going to go against a Vandercook girl at one point.
What is match play? How does that work?
Oh, match play is, I guess you could think of it as just like the brackets of like any basketball games. You know, you go against another person from different
16.
Yeah, 1 against 16, 2 against 15, all the way through. You know, winner advances until the finals, and then.
So what do you do? You roll what, 2 or 3 frames, or how does that work?
You 2-game match, and total pinfall wins. I guess you could.
So
they've adjusted it throughout the years. Every year it's a little different.
Right.
The first year when she had the shoulder problem, it was best 2 out of 3, and if you had a tie, then you had to do a 3-game roll or 3-frame roll off after that. And then the last couple years they modified it and changed it to just 2-game total pins. And if there's a tie, then you do the 9/10 frame roll off.
Oh man, does that happen very often?
It almost did this time. You were asking if she had somebody that she thought she was going to bowl against, and I had a young lady that I figured would be in the championship match with Lynsey. This was planning ahead, you know, in my mind. And her name is Lauren Theory from Riverview, and she lost in the finals the previous year. And so I was expecting a match with Lynsey and Lauren again, but she beat her in the semifinals, and by 1 pin, actually.
Wow.
So that, what I thought was going to be the championship match, actually was a little earlier, unfortunately.
And then the championship, you just blew away the last game?
Actually, I had lost the first game.
Right on.
And came back and wound up winning by a total of 9 pins altogether.
Is that a decent margin? I mean, is that pretty close, or is that a pretty decent margin?
9 pins is not a lot at all.
Right on. So that was too close for your family and everybody watching you and supporting you.
It was way, way too close. It was very scary.
You mentioned your shoulder. We're talking about Lynsey Molinaro. She's a state champion in the state of Michigan in bowling, Division 4. You talked a little bit about your shoulder. Your dad did. Talk a little bit about the injury and just the physical toll that bowling can take on a bowler.
I had actually injured my shoulder playing basketball. I had it dislocated in 7th grade and never really did anything with it. And then finds out I have a couple bone spurs and deteriorated cartilage in my shoulder. So having to get surgery kind of pushed me back a little while, and having to strengthen it back up again, it takes a big toll on you playing, doing bowling.
There's quite a bit of torque. I mean, I'm a terrible bowler, but if you watch people bowl a lot, there's quite a lot of torque probably on your elbow or your shoulder. I'm not sure, but is that something that bothers you? Do you have a lot of pain in that kind of thing?
Sometimes it depends on, if I'm doing something weird like in my approach, or if something's just kind of off that day.
Let's talk about the heart of the competition. I mean, you mentioned how close the championship match was, but whenever you're in a close competition, you've got to, I would think in bowling, you would take incredible mental toughness, because you're really, even though you do have an opponent, you're really facing yourself in a way. I mean, you're just trying to maximize your own score, and you've done it a million times, and you've got to do it 1,000,001 now. I mean, how tough is that mentally to stay focused and to stay calm and to do what you have to do to succeed?
It is very tough. I hadn't really been very good at it until this year, until I got to match play. And then I was extremely focused for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know how I did it, but it's really, you can only take one frame at a time. You can't think ahead. You can't think, oh, I have to do this. Like, you just do it. There's really no other way to describe it, really. One
thing I've noticed as a former coach is one bad play sometimes can impact the next play, can impact the next play. And I would think as a bowler, if you really throw a terrible ball, I don't know the parlance, roll the bad ball or whatever it is, and you do sort of not as good as you can, and then you got to turn right around and do it again. Is that tough to overcome? Can that get in your head a little bit if you blow one?
Oh, definitely. You just think about maybe what you did wrong, and then kind of go from there. Like, if you think you might have turned your shoulders just enough, maybe try and focus just on your shoulders. Keep them straight.
Is your dad or your coach able to sort of coach you during the matches?
Yeah, he can go down and stand next to me, and give me pointers. And if he sees I'm doing something wrong, help correct it. What's
something, Coach, that would be sort of a usual or an expected thing that you could sort of suggest to her during a match?
The obvious one is just to keep your head and just relax and have fun.
Right.
Because, case in point, when she was actually bowling against Lauren, this young lady again, she was beating her by 85 with 5 frames to go. And Lauren, like you said, we were talking about your bad shots, and that affected another one, and affected another one. Well, finally she just went, I give up. And then she just totally relaxed. She struck out, and Lynsey had to spare strike in the 10th to win the match.
Wow.
And just being relaxed is the main thing. So, and that's what she did. She's like, oh, I already lost. So she's ended up throwing 6 or 7 in a row.
Man, if I got to a point in a bowling match where I knew I needed a strike to win, or if I didn't get a strike, I was going to lose, I'd toss that sucker right in the gutter every time. I mean, you really do. I think Tiger Woods is sort of that kind of mental sort of strength and power, and there are some similarities, I would think, between golf and bowling. Again, as a golfer, you're sort of facing yourself or trying to maximize your best score on the course more so than the opponent, and that kind of thing. That kind of mental toughness is really special, Lynsey, and to have been able to master that in the state level on that stage, congratulations. That is incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, you win it. You know you've won. I mean, do you jump up and down? I mean, is there a huge mob at the lane? How does that work?
When I found out I won, I went down. I collapsed. I was overcome with all these different emotions. I had no idea what to think, and then first thing I did, went and hugged my dad for a good 5 minutes straight.
That's pretty special.
That was. And
nobody will ever forget that.
Yeah, the neat thing was it was her 18th birthday that day, too, when she won it. So it was.
That's almost too good to be true, isn't it?
No, it was like picture perfect. That's what she said in the interview with the MHSAA.
Wait, Lynsey, is there any... I'm going to reveal my ignorance here a little bit. Is there such thing as college bowling? Is there a next step that you can take to continue the sport that you love?
Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of college bowling. It's just the fact of finding a college that has my major, with the bowling program. It's what's really difficult.
So where are you at with it?
As of now, I haven't really thought about going to the next level, but I'm still keeping it in the back of my mind.
So you don't have coaches that are trying to recruit you or call you up and offer you scholarships and all that kind of thing to come bowl?
Not yet.
But if you're interested, coaches, and you want to waive some scholarship dollars, she'll definitely listen. As far as, you mentioned there was a boys team and a girls team. Is Lynsey able to smoke most of the guys on the boys varsity team?
Actually, she has out-averaged them for the last 3 years. This is the first year that somebody actually averaged better than her, and I think the only reason that is because of her shoulder injury. She had a kind of a rough year as far as in the league. She was down about 10 pins.
Whenever my wife and I go bowling, she beats me by 30 or 40 pins, and that's sort of expected. But I guess if you're a guy and you're a bowler and you're a high school kid and, you think, I'm a big tough guy and whatnot, and then you've got this little girl over here smoking them in bowling, is that, do they have fun with it, or is it kind of tick them off? How does that work?
They do have a lot of fun with it, and they all get along pretty well. So I don't think they take it too serious, but it's always a good gauge for them.
Because there's really no difference. In golf, the girls have a different tee, and they use a different ball in basketball. Bowling is pretty much bowling, isn't it?
Actually, if you really break it down, it's pretty tough because you have different lane conditions. Everybody's got different bowling balls. The pins react different. If whoever can find the shot, as they call it.
You got to get into the groove or whatever that is.
Yep. Yeah, if you can find what works for you, then that it'll be usually the person that'll win.
What's the highest what do you call it, a frame?
Game?
Yeah, what's the highest game score for you, Lynsey?
I've had a 279.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, you think you get a 300 pretty soon?
Maybe if I actually went out and bowled again.
If you're rolling a 279, you're rolling a strike just about every time, right?
That was last year, but yeah, it was just one frame I missed.
So you missed that frame, or you're like, man.
Yeah, because it was toward the beginning, middle of my game. So by the time you get to the end, you're like, well, I wish that kind of fell.
How does it work from a spectator standpoint? I'll let you guys go here just a second. I've enjoyed the conversation with Lynsey Molinaro and her coach, Matt. How does it work from a spectator standpoint? Did you have some friends and family that were there in the States to watch you participate?
Oh, yeah. I had a lot of people there supporting me.
How do they do that, though? There aren't any bleachers or anything like that, is there?
Actually, they did set up bleachers.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of sitting space, and every seat was taken.
Pretty good crowd, too, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That is so cool. What an intense experience. And, again, to do that on your 18th birthday is really, really special. Did they have some kind of a pep assembly for you at school or some sort of recognition when you got back to Jonesville schools?
Not really.
Katie Bonsteel, or Kathy Bonsteel, if you're listening, you need a big rally for Lynsey here after winning the state champ. That's pretty special to be able to put a state championship trophy at the school. And do you get some kind of a medal or a trophy yourself too?
I actually got a little medal from state, but I had to go make myself my own trophy.
Gosh darn right.
Just to have one.
You deserve it.
Yep.
Absolutely. A couple more weeks of school. When are you guys done?
I am done on May 18th.
Praise the Lord. That sounds really soon.
It is. It's like 9 more days.
Who's counting, right?
She's got it down.
Who's counting?
You know what? I wanted to hook up with this conversation a few weeks ago, and I hadn't gotten a hold of you. I'm so glad it was able to work out and for you to come in. We're really proud of you. The state champion in our county is really special, and congratulations, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Lynsey Molinaro and Matt Molinaro, her coach, the state champion from Jonesville High School in bowling, and really a neat conversation with her to tell us a little bit about her championship and her sport. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the guys coming up in just a moment on WCSR.